I am going to talk about the second book in the Grisha trilogy, Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. Okay, so I just finished reading this. I enjoyed it. It wasn't as bad as I've heard other people say it was. I feel like people said like the first book was alright, and then the second book was like not that great and it was kind of boring. I guess because not a lot of progress in the story happened. Like probably closer to the end. Like there were certain elements that were like, ooh, we made progress here. But at the end of the book, all the progress kind of ramped up to the third book. For me, it was entertaining mainly because there was still a lot of action. There weren't too much lags. I enjoyed the story to an extent. It's just still in the middle, just like Shadow and Bone was, because I feel like Shadow and Bone was kind of middle of the way. It could have been better, but it did enough of a job that it needed to do. My experience with Shadow and Bone was Alina was not that interesting of a character. She was alright. I didn't like Mal. He's like a stock white man, stock white boy character. Most likely I would be like, I don't see it. He's very much an acquired taste or eye of the beholder kind of attractive. Mel's in that range. He's real middle tier, indifferent. He just feels like either he's dime a dozen attractive white boy or he's like in the eye of the beholder attractive, but somehow a lot of these eyes are beholding this particular attractiveness for whatever reason, I don't know, but they're just like enjoying it so much, and I'm just like, I don't see it. I can't relate, don't connect, not getting it. The Darkling, he was alright, but he was just like, ugh. I'm just not into it, just don't care, just like, Darkling's alright. There was the moment in Shadow and Bone where the Darkling pressed up on Alina and things got a little hot, and I was like, okay, I felt that. And there was kind of a moment of that in this book where the Darkling kind of did that. I think, was it the Darkling that... No, where Nikolai did that. Because I was about to say the Darkling, but no. That moment where the Darkling did something, that was like real rapey. So no. But there was the moment where Nikolai was like, he wanted to kiss Alina, but he realized that she's like thinking about Mal, and he just like said, no, I'm not gonna kiss you until you're like not thinking about Mal, but you want me to actually kiss you. I was like, okay, consent, that's sexy, that's comfortable, that's good, that's what's up. Like, I like that. And like, I actually found Nikolai interesting, like in that moment. And for the most part, Nikolai was a pretty interesting character. My interest in Sergei and in, well, first things first, what's his name? I forgot who the Darkling's right-hand man from the first book. But I thought he was hot in the first book. And Alina's just like bland. And one thing I've just realized when it comes to Alina's character is that I guess she's meant to be the kind of like, as a reader, insert yourself into her perspective and live the experience that she's having. And I feel like that's something, although people have their problems with Twilight and with Bella, I feel like that's something that Twilight kind of did better with Bella. I do know when I read Twilight, I was in Bella's head and I got her attraction to Edward, like I connected to it more. And with Alina, I had no real feelings about Alina. I was just kind of like, the only thing I really had feelings about were like, why are you trying to date? Why are you trying to be with Mal? Why is this thing with Mal this thing that has to happen? Because I'm like, there was never any chemistry. In the first book, I always felt like they were brother and sister, partly because the setup in the beginning was that they grew up together in this orphanage and they hung out and played together. And then as the book continued, she kept talking about like how much she had feelings for him and she fell in love with him. And it never seemed like he felt the same way, because basically she was like saying he had hoes out there and she just let him go ahead and have his hoes. But you know, she was hoping that one day he would come to her and be, I don't know, just all of a sudden one day he just kind of realized that he was in love with her when the Darkling was, it's just, I hate it. I hated it. I hate their relationship. And that's the thing about this book when it comes to the romance. The romance is like, that's a drain. And I feel like this book could have been shorter if the romance was cut down a lot more, because there were actual scenes dedicated. I think there was actually one chapter actually dedicated to Alina and Mal's romance, and I'm like, it's not there. It's just not there. Why are we trying to make this a thing? It's not happening. And then they're like talking about the relationship, and it's like, the relationship sucks. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Get it out of the, like, this book could have been shorter. And I realized it made it harder for me to get to the end of this book because the romance of this book kind of dragged and drained me. So that when the book was ramping up to end, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go read the rest of these pages and fly through it. And it's like, it was just so hard to get through the last few pages of this book, probably last 50 pages of this book or something, because the romance had just already drained me so much. And if I didn't have to deal with that and I'd gotten to that end a lot sooner, I would have been done with this book a lot sooner. And I blame it on the romance. I hate the romance. The romance was trash. I'm definitely going to read Ruin and Rising. But I definitely know that, like, I'm going to see more Mal and Alina romance. And I'm just going to be like, I can't. And I might have to, like, actually skip those portions, but I almost feel like it might not have as much of Mal and Alina's romance. I almost feel like it was dealt with in Siege and Storm because it's the middle book. You kind of have to kind of pad it out a little bit more. But I'm like, that was unnecessary padding. It was unnecessary. It made the book lumpy. I enjoyed the book for the most part. I enjoyed it more than I expected based on what other people were saying about it. I'm looking forward to reading Ruin and Rising and finally getting to the Six of Crows duology. I don't know how fast I'll do that. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and